Does it feel like you're going through an internal war? Does it feel like you're between worlds? One foot in the past and one foot in the future? Do you feel like there's a battle going on within you that is trying to keep you stuck in your old energy while you're trying to step into your new energy? Do you feel like all your fears and your old beliefs are starting to poke their head out again? This is the thing. As we're shifting into our newest and highest timeline, we're watching our old belief system crumble around us. And this is scary. We're literally letting go of what no longer serves us because it's outdated, because it cannot come with us into this new timeline. Our fears, our pain, our trauma, our beliefs from the past cannot exist in our new reality. This is why they're all coming to the surface now. They're all coming to the surface so we can release them once and for all. My name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. Currently, as I've been doing a lot of energy videos lately because we are literally in this transition phase. We are jumping into our highest timeline. The energies are intense. We've been feeling lack of motivation. We've been feeling very detached. We've been feeling like we're between worlds. We've been feeling like we're stuck, but we're actually moving forward at an accelerated pace. We're just in this pause while we prepare ourselves for our highest timeline. And this is it. We're entering a phase. We're entering into the age of Aquarius. We're entering into this highest frequency. We are letting go of an outdated belief system. For generations, we have been living in fear, lack, greed, victim mentality, poverty consciousness, lack of love, settling, feeling like that we need to do things a certain way to fit into society's box. This is all crumbling. It's crumbling because it can no longer exist. And this is the thing. This is all going to rebubble. Everything that we have been holding within us that has been keeping us stuck in the past has to be released. This is why things are intense. This is why everything seems to be coming up at once. All our fears, all our pains, all our insecurities, all our trauma. Everything that we believed about our reality is going to crumble and crash around us. And that's the thing, this is it. We're going through this kind of trepidation. We're in fear of the unknown, but we're also in this massive fear of going backwards. And this is the block that I've been working on, is my poverty consciousness, my money blocks. But you see, money blocks and any blocks that we have can all come back to our heart. They all come back to the heart blocks. It all comes back to that insecurity. All comes back to that feeling that we're not worthy, that we're not good enough, that we're imposters in this new reality. This is the kind of energy we're feeling at the moment. We're feeling all this old energy come back up. And it's testing us. It's testing us to see, are we ready? Are we ready to jump into this new reality? Or will we let ourselves be sucked back into that old mentality? And this is it. Things are coming up to remind us of the old reality. Things are coming up to the surface to show us what we're letting go of. And we're in this test mode, this testing phase, where we're literally being tested by the universe. Are you ready to release this shit once and for all? Are you ready to say goodbye to the past? And are you ready to welcome in this highest timeline? Are you ready to welcome in your future? This is what we're being asked. And this is, for me now, the last couple of weeks, well, always for me anyway, my biggest one is my heart blocks. But my heart blocks are connected to my fear, my lack mentality, my poverty consciousness that I inherited. All of this is connected to my heart. And as I've been opening my heart, as I've been breaking that stone around my heart and really opening up, this is bringing up the stuff that I've been blocking within myself. And this is bringing up all my fears of the past. My fears around insecurity. My fears around not being good enough. My fears around going backwards. And that's one of the biggest ones. My biggest fear is being codependent on someone again. this is it. Like, you know, I'm an independent woman and I look after myself and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. But I keep going into fear that what if I need to go back to somebody toxic, you know, because I need somebody, because that insecurity, you see that fear of having to go back to people in my past because I'm not good enough to move forward. And this is the kind of one that's coming up for me at the moment, is literally those kind of fears around poverty, around codependency, around, you know, not being good enough to do this on my own. And I realized, like, the other day, the block cleared for me, but I'm still kind of going through those fears. It's like, what I realized was, we can't bring our old belief system forward. We can't bring those fears into our new reality because they cannot actually exist. We're changing frequency. We're in this 3D lack mentality, poverty conscious, fear-based frequency. This is the frequency we are jumping out of. And we're jumping into our highest 5D frequency, where everything is love, light, opportunities, abundance, magic. You know, we cannot fear. You know, and this is it, like, you know, and this is the mind-blowing part. We are literally, it's like we're changing movies for all the world. We're in this old movie. It's black and white. It's outdated. It doesn't work anymore. You can't see it. The picture is all crackly. It's time to update. It's like it's on an old television. And we're updating our television to a flat screen, and we're updating it to colour, HD, happy, happy, happy. Love, light, and opportunities. And it's really, really weird because we've only ever known that black and white old television set, that black and white old movie. You know, so we're releasing beliefs that we've known our whole lives, but we have to understand that the person who believed those things no longer exists. We're saying goodbye to an old version of ourselves. We're saying goodbye to that old reality. We are not that person anymore. We are not that belief system anymore. And this is it. So if you're feeling all of these insecurities come up, if you're feeling, and this is the scary part, because when we're in this transition, it's like, you know, you're one foot stuck in the past, one foot stuck in the future. You know where you want to go, but because it's so, it's unknown territory. It's scary. You know, and like, as I've said before, when we're letting go of our old self, we're letting go of somebody we've known our whole lives. We're letting go of something that has been a part of us our whole fucking lives. That's hard. That's like saying goodbye to a person, or, you know, anything. It's saying goodbye to someone we've been close to for a very, very long time. But we have to understand that person doesn't exist anymore. That reality can't exist anymore. And that's the funny thing, like, you know, as I've been upgrading, as I've been up-leveling, as I've been ascending, the little things in my life have started to change. And, like, you know, throughout this transition phase while we're jumping into this new timeline, I'm starting to see glimpses of my new reality. You know, and it's just simple little things, like, and it's just like, you know, I mentioned this analogy last week, or like, you know, this thing last week about my frying pan. I was using an old, cheap frying pan that buckled the first time I used it, and I still been using it. It's weird, right? So I got this new decent frying pan because I'm cooking more. And I got really triggered by that fucking frying pan because it was so fucking different. And like, I'm still getting used to the new frying pan, and it's fine, but it's weird. And I know it's such a weird analogy, but like, the food I'm cooking on the frying pan now is the same food I was cooking in the old frying pan, but it's cooking differently. It's probably cooking properly. And I was probably, that's the weird thing. I was probably cooking food wrong because the frying pan I had was cheap, buckled, uneven, thin. So it was cooking the food at a weird temperature, unevenly, all the time. And I got used to that. And that was fine. The food still tasted good. But now I'm cooking it in the proper frying pan. It's taken a little bit longer, needs a little bit more patience, but it's cooking more even. It actually tastes really good. But it's weird. It's so different. It's like, have I actually been cooking things wrong up until now? And that's kind of a metaphor for our whole lives. I've been living wrong until now. And, like, I'm not saying the food was bad. Like, I could still eat the food. The food was still edible. It was still cooked properly. But it wasn't done right. And this new fucking cooking is done right, but it's so alien that I'm like, is it being cooked right? Is it done even? Like, you know, I'm like, it's really confusing. I'm still getting used to it. But it is a metaphor for my life. I'm getting used to this new reality. And I'm kind of going, yeah, I was doing it wrong. It was uneven. You know what I mean? It was uneven. It was cooking. Not back to my life now. It was done imbalanced. There we go. That's a good word. Imbalanced. So my old life was imbalanced the same way the buckled fucking frying pan was. It was unbalanced. And this is it. We're moving into our new frying pan, our new timeline, and it is balanced. It's just so fucking different. So this is what we're trying to get used to. You know, we're bringing things into our life because it's our new reality. They're nice and shiny. Whereas, like, the stuff we had in our old life were covered in dust and they were old and outdated. And it's just like, yes, I want this new stuff, but it's kind of scary. It's like, I've never been here before. And you're like, there's a part of you that's tempted to go back. And, like, don't get me wrong, I'm still, every time I use the frying pan now, I'm like, it's so different. Will I bring out the other frying pan? I need to throw away the other frying pan because I keep getting tempted to use it. But yeah, it's kind of like, it's just certain things, certain simple things, like just, you know, just mentalities, just thoughts, belief systems. You know, like I used to think that I'm unmaterialistic and I live quite simply. And for a long time, I had a money block because I was like, you know, I don't want to be a materialistic person. I don't want money to go to my head. And then I realized I wasn't living simply. I was living below my means. And I thought because I'm unmaterialistic, I should live below my means. And I was just like, no, you can have nice things without being materialistic. It's that simple. You know what I mean? Just because you had an old mentality and you thought you were living simply, no, you were actually living in lack. And that's the thing I realized. I was like, oh, I don't need that. Like I'm fierce for improvising. And I love that. I love recycling stuff. I love making my own things. That's fine. But like, you know, I used to make my things with the basic of material. Now I buy better material to make things. You know, there's a difference there. You know, like that new frying pan. Now my food is cooked evenly and perfected better because I just chose to buy a different material. You know, so you can still have nice things without being materialistic. But that's the thing with this new world we're moving into. It's like we're trying to let go of that system where we're like, oh, I lived this way all my life. This is the way I should live. This is it. We're literally crumbling all of that. Everything around us is changing. And that's really weird. Like I've jumped timelines before, but I was never conscious while I was doing the jumping. You know what I mean? I just knew that I was in a no reality and I committed into new. What I've noticed about this timeline, right? When we've shifted timelines before, we've shifted into an adjacent timeline. So what I mean by that is there was slight differences, you know, slight improvements. So whereas now we're shifting into a timeline that's completely opposite to the timeline we were in, where everything is improved. It's not just one or two things. It's absolutely everything. So we have to understand that everything we believed before, everything we did before, actually cannot exist in this new reality. And this is what this final purge is all about. This is why all of those fears are coming up to the surface. This is why all of it seems fresh. And that's the thing. We're in this limbo phase. So we're unsure. We're feeling all the fears of the past. So we're a little bit unsure of ourselves. We're fearing that we're not good enough for the future. We're feeling all that lack mentality, that lack of self-worth from the past. And this is the test we need to overcome, is that these feelings that we're having right now are only the past resurfacing for the final release. So it's actually just getting it out of our system. And the test is understanding that. So when you're feeling that old shit come up, say to yourself, no, this is for final release. This cannot happen. It can't happen again. It actually just can't happen again. That's the thing I was sitting with the other day. You can't bring that mentality into the new frequency. You just can't. If you want to stay in that mentality, you're staying in the old system. It's not actually that doesn't, it's not the environment isn't suitable. So, for example, like you have a plant and it needs a certain environment, it needs a certain temperature, it needs a certain climate. And if you put it into the wrong climate, it's going to die. It just can't exist in that climate. This is it with our old belief systems. They can't survive in this new reality. They just cannot exist in this new world. So when you're feeling it all come up to the surface, say to yourself, this shit can't exist in my new reality. It just can't. So release those fears once and for all. Trust that they're fucking temporary, and trust that anything from your past cannot physically survive in this new higher vibrational frequency. Just can't. And that's the thing. Even though I'm going through it at the moment, the fears are here, I'm going through all that fucking fear. I'm still kind of going, oh my God, what if I go backwards? But then I come back to myself and I'm like, no. I have seen glimpses of this new reality. I've seen glimpses of magic. I know where I'm going, and that's forward. And I know I cannot bring this pain, this trauma, this fear, this lack with me. So now when it comes up, I'm like, you can't exist here. You can't actually exist in this new higher timeline. You just can't. So this is it. Our old belief system is crumbling to make room for this highest frequency we're jumping into. Remember this, anytime your fears are resurfacing, anytime they're coming up for final purge, this stuff can't exist in your new reality. So it's time to say goodbye to it once and for all. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you would like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I'd love nothing more than to help you on your path.